What's up, guys? It's dynastymttops, back again for week 6 into 7. I can't believe we're almost halfway through this already, but I am joined with my co-host extraordinaire, as I said last week, Jeremy. How you doing tonight, man?
I'm doing all right. It's a little disappointing to know that we're almost at the halfway point, but hey, fantasy season's in full swing, and this is why we do what we do.
Yeah, and for fantasy, I mean, this is the halfway point of regular season. So, this is crazy what we're going into already. You kind of know where you're at, I feel like, right? So,
Yeah.
it's going to be interesting. For the home stretch here, we're getting close. So, like every other week, we're going to talk about injuries from week 6, takeaways and standouts. Also have flex options for week 7 because the Ravens and Bills, who have very good quarterbacks at least, are on a bye week this week. And then we're going to talk a little buy sell. We have a bunch of names to go through. We don't know if we're going to get through them all, but we got a good list for you guys to kind of give you an idea of where we think they're at dynasty-wise and for the year. So, first off, we're going to start with week 6 injuries. And there are a lot. However, it's not as serious, I guess, as it has been the last few weeks. First one, obviously, is the best player in football, arguably, Puka Nacua, with an ankle. Returned the second half, but we believe that's just adrenaline. He's probably not going to play, unsure to play week 7. Garrett Wilson dealing with an injury as well. I did not find out what that injury was, but from Aaron Glenn, that's what he said. He could miss up to the next 2 weeks, and I guess they have their bye week in 3 weeks, so that would make sense. Emeka Egbuka, hamstring injury, likely to miss week 7. We don't know about anything further than that right now. Good thing for them, Mike Evans might be coming back, so it might not just be no names for Baker Mayfield. Calvin Ridley, hamstring as well, unlikely to play next week, but still not ruled fully out. David Njoku has knee issue, probably not going to play. He's on the trade block from what I'm hearing, so they're probably going to sit him out to make sure he's healthy for that trade block opportunity, especially the way Fannon's been playing. Dontavian Wicks, an ankle injury, unlikely to play as well. Mari DiMercado has an ankle injury, not sure what's going on there. He left the game, I think, in the second quarter, something like that. And then Fred Warner, not an offensive player, but just because he's one of the best defensive players in the game, and now the 49ers have lost both of their studs on defense. It ends up becoming fantasy relevant because now when you play the Niners, you can play your players against them and have no worry, if that makes sense. So Fred Warner ankle, he's out for the season. So before we go to the updates here, there's only a couple of those big names. Anything that sticks out to you? I mean, obviously, Puka Nacua being possibly out is a huge deal, but other than that,
Yeah, this was unfortunately not a good week for me fantasy-wise. I have Puka Nacua and Garrett Wilson and Emeka Egbuka and the Niners defense in a defensive unit dynasty that I have. So, yeah, it was not a good week for me. Props to the Fred Warner shout out. Again, defensive, but it does matter for situations such as like leagues with defensive units and IDPs. So, yeah, that's a big loss for them, especially after losing Bosa. And then, Puka, I believe, is going to be in the same wheelhouse as Wilson. The Rams go on a bye week in 2 weeks. So, after this London trip with the Jaguars, they're on bye. So I can see Puka sitting out that long period of time. As well as Garrett Wilson. So, I mean, we get some big fantasy names here that are not long term, but week 7 and 8 are going to be pretty interesting to see who steps up.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, we cannot have nice things in fantasy this year. Everything that has been good wide receiver wise, usually it's running backs. This year, all the good wide receivers have an issue. Some kind of issue, whether they're hurt like CeeDee Lamb and Malik Neighbors and now Puka, or they have no quarterback like Jefferson and Chase. Like, it's insane, which is bringing some other players to the forefront, which is really cool to see. And we'll talk about them, I'm sure, coming up. But every single week we have 8 to 10 people to talk about, and it's crazy. I don't know what's going on this year with injuries. But, yeah, the other one that I think is a problem not necessarily for fantasy, but because I believe he's going to be traded, is Calvin Ridley. Is he going to be back? How quickly does he come back? Because I have a feeling they want to trade him, just like the Njoku ordeal, where they're kind of moving in a different direction with Fannin, and if you're not healthy, you can't be traded. So hopefully, for those two teams, Cleveland Browns and the Titans, those two guys get healthy quicker as well. Because we're getting close to the trade deadline, which is crazy to see as well. But we do have a few updates as well. Lamar Jackson, he's going on bye this week, as I said before. Ravens are on a bye, but he should be returning from his hamstring injury week 8. It's almost certain he will, unless there's a huge setback somewhere. But everything I've heard, he's coming back. So that's good for fantasy. Bad for the Steelers, but good for fantasy. And then Jawan Jennings, apparently he was playing with 5 broken ribs and a high and low ankle sprains. Basically, his entire body's hurting, and he is just playing through it and not playing well. So we'll see if he ends up on the IR or ends up out this week because of all those injuries. But I know he wants to play, especially if they don't get Pearsall back, but it sounds like they might. So, and then George Kittle, also from the Niners, is working his way back. Could be able to play this week, not 100%, but I've heard there is a good chance he will be. So that's a big time tight end in a season that is tight end lax. One of the big names are coming back, which is good to see. Anything on the updates for you?
No. I'm happy to see Kittle come back, and I'm sure the Niners are as well, considering how banged up they are offensively, defensively, physically, mentally, emotionally, psychologically, etc. So,
yeah, their best players on defense and offense have been hurt all year. It's outside of McCaffrey, it's insane, and they're still.
And they're 3-2.
Is it? Are they 3-2? 4
and 2?
3-2. They hit a bye. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And then for me, we have 3 takeaways today. My first one is there are 3 more quarterbacks that are starting to get to that quote-unquote elite tier. If they're not there, they're right below Allen and those guys. In Drake May, Baker Mayfield, and Dak Prescott. They're playing insane ball this year. First off, Dak Prescott is quarterback 3 on the year, 4th overall. 4 out of his 6 weeks were top 10 weeks. And if his team was good at all around him, especially the defense, he would probably be one of the leading MVP candidates, the way he's been slinging the ball without CeeDee Lamb, with a run game that no one expected to be good, with outside of George Pickens right now, no names. He's making Jake Ferguson look like Kelsey right now. Maybe not that far, but you get what I'm saying. And he's always loved this tight end, but for some reason, Jake Ferguson is just elevated to another level this year. Where if you listen to our pre-season stuff, you knew I didn't expect that to happen. So obviously, I'm a little shocked by that. And then
it doesn't help that Dak's also the lightning rod of the league. Like, he's an easy one to target in regards to criticism. He's an easy one to target in regards to critiquing. So, the fact that they're 2-3-1, led by a clown show and Jerry Jones, Micah Parsons is now long gone. They're an easy team to poke fun at. Why that is, I don't know, but they are. And as long as they have that mantra, and as long as Dak has that polarizing aspect, he's not going to get the credit that's credit to do.
Absolutely, and it's not like this is the first time he's done this. Before he got hurt, I think 3 or 4 years ago, he was projected to have 6,000 yards passing, or something insane like that, if I remember correctly. Unfortunately, he got hurt out for the rest of the year, and we found out Cooper Rush was not good. Moving on, One person who we thought wasn't very good, or I didn't think was very good, was Baker Mayfield originally. Then he found the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and apparently is a completely different quarterback. Quarterback 4 on the year, 5 overall. 3 of 6 weeks in the top 10, but his fourth quarter heroics is why I think he is the leading candidate for the MVP in actual NFL. And then where you were able to get him in starter drafts, or what you were able to get him for in a trade in the last couple years, if you were able to get him in the last couple years, um, the value that you're getting back from what Baker Mayfield was is absolutely insane. So he's very likely to be an MVP on your own team as well, fantasy wise. And then it would not be me without saying Drake May is one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. And I think he's proving it now. Only in his second year, quarterback 6, 7 overall, 4 of 6 weeks in the top 10. He has been slinging it with people that we don't know who their names are. Keyshawn Pooty, who was a joke until this year, basically, or until the end of last year, I guess, whenever Drake May kind of unlocked him. Stephon Diggs, Undertaker gif again, as we say. And then honestly, I can't name anybody else on the team. Demario Douglas, I think, still on the team. Like he's doing this and winning with this team with an okay defense and what we thought was going to be a bad offense. That I think these 3 guys are starting to elevate in it. This is his first year doing it, but the other 2 have kind of been on that trajectory for a while, just haven't been able to crack it. And because how bad Dak's defense is and how great Baker's been playing with nobodies as well, with all his injuries, I think they're starting to elevate even higher into that top 5, top 6 kind of thing. So you're going to talk about, I'm sure, the quarterback that probably moved up the highest this year. So go for it.
Yeah, it was such a pendulum swing for this guy. PFF scoring, he's quarterback 13, which is insane because he should be quarterback 1 in all aspects. It's Patrick Mahomes. Wake up, folks, because the Chiefs they are back, and we all need to prepare for yet another season of Chiefs Kingdom. They survived the Rashee Rice suspension. They are now 3-3. And Rice just comes back next week. Andy Reid's now in his full swagger. Patrick Mahomes is in his full swagger. The running game has cleaned itself up. It's more of a committee now as opposed to Pacheco running the league, which is fine because, especially our listeners would know, like, I've been a little sour on Pacheco since his injury. So seeing the committee come into full play is starting to develop. But again, they're healthy. They're getting their star wide receiver back. Patrick Mahomes is only going to get better now that he has that whole core and system in the day. Because now we've seen how Juju steps up, and we've seen Tyquan Thornton come out of nowhere and be that deep threat that Patrick Mahomes has always needed since they've toyed with MVS and then a few opportunities in between. They haven't had that speedster deep threat. Tyquan Thornton gives them exactly that. So now you're going to have Rashee Rice and Tyquan Thornton stretching the field. You're going to have Xavier Worthy, who's another week healthier. It's the Chiefs are back, and unfortunately, we're all here. We're already starting to see. We didn't hear any type of ref conspiracy theorists or anything against the Chiefs until they started becoming successful. They now, rightfully so, there was a called catch by Travis Kelce that replay shows it was not one that hit the ground, but the Chiefs did what majority of teams would do. They ran up and got the next playoff before there was any type of hesitation or any type of challenge. So that's the kind of stuff I'm referring to when it comes to Andy Reid. That's the kind of stuff I'm referring to when it comes to these types of Chiefs team that we're going to start seeing again. We're going to start seeing them in the media all over the place. We're going to start seeing Taylor Swift all over the place. We're going to start seeing Travis Kelce all over the place. It's going to start once again because they have survived this period of which they had a suspension of Rashee Rice. And now they are 3-3, well within the division, well within the conference, and by far the most experienced club and we've seen these past 5 years.
No, that's a good point. I was talking to someone today about how crazy the NFL is. The teams with only one loss. There's nobody with no losses. There's only one team with no wins. Holler back, Jets. You guys are terrible.
So bad.
Yeah, real bad. And the teams that are leading the NFL right now are our Steelers, but they really haven't. I mean, I think they've played people, but there's they're not proven yet, is what I've been hearing. The Bucks, who their only loss was the former champions of last year, the Eagles, and they look incredible. The Bucks, and then the Colts, which who would have saw this coming, right? When everyone thought they didn't have a quarterback. Now, obviously, they do. And he could be thrown in that MVP mix as well. So, everything's up for the taking right now. There's a bunch of 4-2 teams. The Chiefs are right there back in it because the Chargers and the Broncos can't decide that they want to finally win the division and lose to bad teams. And just craziness is going on in the NFL right now. That is for sure. And I said this last week, but everyone's a professional, so you can win and lose on any given week. And there's not too many sports that are like that, which is why I love the NFL so much.
Amen, brother. Amen.
And the last thing, and not necessarily a takeaway from just this week, but really a takeaway from all year, I feel like the fantasy numbers aren't, or the consistency of the fantasy top dogs aren't really there. Again, minus Nakua, but he got hurt. So I wonder if it's good defense or that people are just playing some bad offense. I'm kind of curious. I haven't figured this out yet. I think it's more good D versus bad offense, but it could be a mixture of both. But it's crazy to see the watered down, maybe not watered down, but the lower scores. I feel like a lot of times, the good defenses are just shutting down any offense almost, which is kind of crazy, and it's just chaotic. It is the only way I can see it. Like, we're never talking about the same people really. There's only a few and far between that are really consistent this year in fantasy at least, and outside of running backs are pretty consistent every week. But
I don't know if there. I mean, you bring up a great point, and the numbers aren't really there, but the scoring's there. Like, we have a lot of high scoring football games. Scoring's up some crazy amount of percent. I don't want to say I don't want to say it's 100% the purpose, but perhaps the kickoff rules are really playing an impact toward the fantasy outlook, because these fields are now shorter. They're not starting at the 20 or 25 yard line. They're starting at the 35, 38, 42 yard line. So when you have, say, 60 yards ahead of you, there's only so much ball to go around.
That's a good point.
Just a thought process on the way that because you see that the scores are going up, and those scores are going up because, and case in point is the kickoffs is one contributing factor why the scoring is going up. So, I mean, to your point, we're seeing drives go a little bit quicker. We are seeing drives go quicker because they're not lasting as long, obviously due to the length of the field and everything, and then the lack of yardage ahead of these players by the way that these fields are being shortened. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's a mix of poor defense, to your point, and
there's the kickoff rules. There is a lot of bad defense, that's for sure. But there's a lot of bad offense too. Like, Titans could play the Cowboys and only scored 10 points, using the worst defense and the worst offense, in my opinion. Like, it feels like it's so. I don't necessarily want to say watered down, but there's a lot of parity in the league. But at the same time, there's kind of a separation from the average to good and the bad. Like, there's a bad group of teams this year, in my opinion. And they might get 1 or 2 wins here and there, but like there's a crop that just they get lucky when they win, kind of deal. So, so yeah, I just always like to kind of look at that and see if it's changing. If it's, I thought it was going to stabilize by now, and it hasn't. It's still insane. It's still chaos, which is why we love the NFL. Like I say every week. So we're going to talk about our standouts here. I'm going to go a little bit quicker than I usually do this week because we got a lot to go through. But my number one quarterback shout out is Jackson Dart.
Talk about it.
I wish I knew his middle name because I would have said it, but I don't. 17 to 25, 195 yards and a touchdown, 13 carries for 58 yards and another touchdown. And yeah, he's under 200 yards passing, but he's no one to pass to. So when you're able to run the ball with him and Cam like they were this past week, I would keep the ball on the ground as well. It's safer. Unless you're Ramondre Stevenson. Sorry, shut up. Sorry, couldn't help it. But yeah, Jackson Dart, QB3 on the week, and only in his third game, I believe, which is insane. So shout out to him. Shout out to Daniel Jones. I feel like me or you do this every single week, but it is still shocking to me somehow that he is in the top 10 every single week almost. 22 to 30, 212 yards, two touchdowns, 3 interception, 5 carries for 20 yards added onto that, and a touchdown as well. So it counted for 3 touchdowns there. Quarterback 4 on the week again. He's just been so consistent. He's getting the ball to everybody, it seems like. Josh Downs finally got in the end zone, which was nice to see. So,
yes.
I don't know if he's the catalyst or if everything's just kind of working now or if he just works with Steichen a little bit better than the other quarterbacks did. I don't know what's going on in Indy, but it is fun to see and fun to watch, man.
No, full agreement. It was great to see Josh Downs get some touchdowns as a Josh Downs owner. They're starting to spread the ball around a little bit, which is great to see. Daniel Jones is starting to get some rapport with his wide receivers now that he is consistently playing with them. And Daniel Jones, he got that legs advantage. I mean, he rushed for 20 yards. I mean, that's that. He got that rushing touchdown, and he is a threat to do that behind if he steps back. So that's always a good thing for him to have. And Jackson Dart, you're right. He hasn't cleared 200 yards last week, but what he did last week is he played mistake-free football. He had a pretty sloppy game against New Orleans 2 weeks ago where he literally dropped the ball in the middle of a run. He had 2 total fumbles and a pick. So he played mistake-free football, which is what I like to see as a Jackson Dart fan and a Jackson Dart owner. I wanted to give a shout out to one more time here this week to Baker Mayfield. He was QB 11 on the week. But Baker went 17 for 23 for 256 yards and 2 touchdowns. He also had 14 yards rushing. He continues to have no finishes outside the top 15. He's the only quarterback in the league presently right now that has that statistic working in his favor. You could probably argue that he is definitely one of the candidates for MVP. Funny story. I don't know if the reviewers have heard this story, but this was one I had to hear. Tez Johnson scored his very first touchdown with all the injuries during the Tampa Bay Buccaneers game last week. He scores his very first touchdown, and he does a insane monkey front flip celebration touchdown. And as he does this, he comes out of it, and the crowd is chanting MVP, MVP, MVP. So he goes to his offensive line. And he was like, "What are they chanting MVP for? I didn't do anything all year." So he thought they were chanting MVP for him for making a touchdown catch. Meanwhile, the crowd is chanting MVP for their quarterback Baker Mayfield, and that is what I wanted to highlight is because the fan base is there already in full swing behind Baker, and in my opinion, I can't define a better MVP at this present moment in approaching week 7 than him, considering the amount of injuries that he has had to endure. Personally, the amount of injuries he's had to endure in his wide receiving room at the beginning of the season, and what he did throughout the season already during the injuries to his current core. So definitely shout out to Baker Mayfield on that one. And another shout out I wanted to give to is QB12 is Bryce Young, a name that we normally don't mention on here unless it's a negative manner. But hey, look, the Carolina Panthers are 3-3. Let's not downplay what they've been able to do there. Ted McMillan has been playing fantastic, and Bryce Young is really starting to get into a nice groove. Does he have some slop games where he has some slop moments? Of course, but he's still a learning and a progress quarterback. Stats were he went for 17 for 25, 199 yards, 3 touchdowns. He did have one interception that bounced off Ted McMillan's hands, but 2 out of those 3 touchdowns thereafter were Ted's. So great rebound there and great rebound skills. So I wanted to give a shout out to Bryce Young as well on his numbers for the week.
Yeah, and real quick, I think Carolina's building something there. They got a lot of good young players, good young defense that's getting better every single week. It's fun to see that. And then you have Baker Mayfield, who, in my opinion, is the MVP. And in the reason I say that is because the first 3 weeks of the season before they went 3-0, but they were losing in the fourth quarter, he brought them back to win the game. He almost did it against the Eagles in Week 4 as well, but just short. But yeah, he's been playing some nasty ball. He also got crushed in a sack or in a pressure. I think he got the ball off, got a completion, and the guy just leveled him. He got up and was so fired up that you couldn't help but be excited. I have been a negative Baker Mayfield person because I didn't think he was very good. I was wrong, so I own that. And he has definitely lived up to the number 1 overall pick in the last few years. So love Baker Mayfield now, that moxie and stuff. So
Fantastic. It's a great word for Baker. Moxie. It's a great word. He got that dog in him. That's what they like to say.
Absolutely.
Well, let's transition to a running back here. Speaking of absolute pit bulls.
Oh,
My next shout out is going to be Cam Scatterbo. Dude scores 3 touchdowns on the win Thursday against the rival Philadelphia Eagles. He went 98 total rushing yards as well. Hey, look, Tyron Tracy came back this week, and he went for, like I said, 98 yards, 3 touchdowns, and he caught the ball twice for 12 yards. Both of his targets were catches. The stats don't highlight his first touchdown against the Eagles. The amount of force and physicality that he ran, he was carrying Eagle players over the goal line. It was just incredible. He has been absolute treat to watch. Absolute wrecking ball behind the line, and it's been an absolute treat to watch. I mean, running back 3 of the week, Cam Scatterbo. Another one I wanted to shout out was Kamani Vidal, the running back for the Los Angeles Chargers. We've heard all week who was going to be the running back. It was going to be Vidal. It was going to be Haskins. Haskins has his experience here, and he's going to be the lead back. Vidal hasn't done anything in the time that which they've had him. Look, he came out and ran for 124 yards on 18 attempts. He also had 3 catches for 14 yards, and his 1 touchdown of the day was a receiving touchdown. So I wanted to give props to Vidal for not only stepping into a hole that was not only unknown to be who was going to fill it in, but he stepped into it with absolute brute force. And Vidal I want to give a shout out to. But I also wanted to give a shout out to Vidal because I believe that you have a nice little fun story about Kamani.
Oh yeah. I gotta tell this real quick. So I'm in a guillotine league. I'm already out, but I run the guillotine league. I had a bad year, but my friend's son is in it. He's like 13, I think, 14 maybe, and he doesn't pay attention as much. So I try to keep an eye on it for him. Well, he had Amarian Hampton in, and all the other running backs are taken, right? So he's picking between Gainwell, secondary players basically. And I'm like, well, Vidal, we don't know if he's going to be the starter or not. So he put him in. He was going to be last place if he didn't get something out of him. Ended up getting 21 points from him. And I saved his year. So Nostradamus over here because I got lucky. I just thought that was a funny story.
No, I enjoy it.
That I thought it was going to be Haskins all day. I was like, well, at least this guy's going to get some run. He might get you 5 points even. It's better than 0. And here he comes getting 20. So pretty impressive. Impressive day by Vidal. And people have said that he was going to be good. It's just he's been logjammed behind other players and never able to make it happen. So definitely made it happen this week. Another guy who, well, makes it happen every so often. DeAndre Swift, running back 6 on the week. If you watch the game, he was the show in this game. 14 carries, 108 yards, 2 catches on 3 targets for 67 yards and a touchdown. That touchdown was sick. He also, fantasy-wise, he also has a really good schedule coming up, like for almost the rest of the year. He plays not very good defenses. Every so often, obviously, he has to play Green Bay again, so that's a good defense. But most of his schedule is really, really, really nice. So if you're able to get him, I would recommend him. And then I don't care. I talked about him last week. I'm talking about him again because he's started 2 weeks and he's went over 200 yards both weeks. Rico Dowdle, running back 2, 30 carries for 183 yards, 4 catches on 5 targets for 56 yards and a touchdown. This is 2 weeks in a row, all-purpose yards over 200, 473 yards in 2 games that he started. And Bijan is the only back better than him this week. And if you watch Bijan last night, you know why. Because he is a freak. But again, I said this last week, kind of tongue-in-cheek, but now I know how much you like Chuba. Now it's actually true. Like, Chuba's in trouble. He's been okay, but Bijan is doing what Rico did.
I definitely. Yeah, I definitely can support that. Not to interrupt you, but yeah, I don't know if Chuba's in trouble per se, but I definitely don't. I am a Chuba owner, and I am definitely a little concerned with not only the usage of Dottle, but what he did with it. That needs to be stated. Is same line, same game plan. He put up numbers twice what Chuba has done. So yes, as a Chuba owner and a Chuba fan, I'm a little bit concerned of what things look like in the next few weeks.
And again, I go back to this is why I sold Chuba at the end of the year last year because I just not that I don't believe in him. I think there's other backs that are going to feed in, and I didn't know who it was going to be, but I thought it was going to be maybe Jonathan Brooks. Obviously, he's still in the hospital. I'm kidding. He's just hurt. But always. But when they signed Rico, I was like, oh man, I'm glad he got rid of Chuba because Rico had a good year last year, and he's consistently showing why he was the starter for Dallas last year over Zeke, and why he's fighting for in my opinion, he should be fighting for the starting job right now with Chuba. Moving on. We have our wide receivers. Real quick, Kayshon Boutte, wide receiver 4 on the week, 5 catches on 5 targets, caught them all, 93 yards and 2 touchdowns. And I said this a little bit earlier, Drake May is finding everybody, but especially Kayshon Boutte. This seems to be his favorite target. Even with Diggs there, I feel like Boutte's kind of been his favorite for the last year and a half, or 20 games, or however long he's been starting. So he's going to pop up a little bit more on people's radar, I think. But again, wide receiver 4 on the week. Next week he might end up being wide receiver 60. Who knows? But it seems like it's a different person every week. But he's been on it more often than not. So, and then also someone who we always thought was going to be a top dog. Brian Thomas finally shows up on the top 10. Wide receiver 7, 8 catches on 10 targets, 90 yards and a touchdown. The 10 targets is what matters to me. He 80% catch percentage. Pretty darn good, and really good for how Brian Thomas has been playing prior to this week. Starting to get some rapport with Trevor Lawrence, and if they can start linking up like they did this past week, could get dangerous.
No, I love the call. It's great to see the targets. The targets are very important. It's when they start going 4 for 10 or 5 for 11. That's where we have the issues. But 8 for 10. 8 for 10 is one thing, but 10 targets in an offense where you have the Travis Hunters, where you have the Parker Washingtons, who's been coming up for the past few weeks. The eyeballs are there to Brian Thomas, and it looks as if that the beginning of the season was just a mere hiccup.
Now, I do know Brenton Strange didn't play, so that might have had something to do with it. I know I can't believe I'm saying this myself. I know. But Brenton Strange has been one of his favorite targets so far this year. So with him not playing, he had to find some other places to go. So that might have been what the extra targets were from. Hopefully it continues, though.
I'm going to repeat my guy as well. Let's put it that way. I'm going to continue to toot this horn until this horn continues to quiet. It's going to be George Pickens. He was wide receiver 1 this week. You can't beat that, folks. Wide receiver 1. He had 11 targets. He caught 9 of them for 168 yards and a touchdown. He is one of 2 players with 4 games of 50-plus receiving yards and 1 receiving touchdown. It's only him and Garrett Wilson. And that was until last week, where Justin Fields kind of had himself a career day, not for a good way.
Negative.
But yeah, so I wanted to give one more shout out to George Pickens, the wide receiver 1 on the day. I also wanted to give a shout out to Ladd McConkey. He was wide receiver 6. Now I do want to give a little asterisk to this one as well. The QJ did not dress for this game, but McConkey did step up, and she saw a lot more work on Sunday with that absence. QJ's hamstring obviously holding him up. He played very well. He led the team, I believe. Yeah, he led the team with 100 receiving yards and scored. Again, he had himself a touchdown. So this is the kind of Ladd McConkey that Ladd McConkey owners fell in love with last season. It was because QJ was on the field but wasn't participating or playing the way he was presently. But hopefully, this is exactly what Brian Thomas went through. This is just a simple hiccup and hump that he needed to get over to have the beginning of the season be just a mere hiccup and this present and postseason be a lot more fruitful.
I'm hoping this is something to start Ladd. I know last week he was okay as well, but this week, obviously, top 10, really good day. George Pickens, if Pickens plays the way he's playing now, and when CeeDee Lamb comes back, he's just his normal self, that's going to be fun. Especially with how bad the defense is. These are going to be 40-point games a week.
No, great points. Great points. We'll transition this into tight end at this point now. I wanted to give a shout out to Michael Mayer by the way that his season ended last season and started this season. It was overshadowed because of the way that they drafted Brock Bowers, who immediately became the tight end 1 for that position. And then at the beginning of this season, Michael Mayer had a concussion. Once he healed from the concussion, Brock Bowers was hurt with his ankle injury. And knee, I believe it is. Ankle and knee for Brock Bowers. But nevertheless.
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, but nevertheless, he's been thrown immediately into the starting role for the Raiders. He was at 92% of the snap share last week. So I wanted to give a shout out to Michael Mayer, who has had himself kind of as a slow, rocky started with the concussion, missing some games, but he's been immediate positive impact for that offense. The other tight end I wanted to shout out was one of my favorite tight ends in the league, Trey McBride, for another productive day. He went 8 for 11 for 72 yards and a touchdown, enough for tight end 2 on the day. Kyler Murray was unable to play this game. So I was a little skeptical in regards to how Trey McBride's numbers were going to be. Sometimes when you have the backup quarterback come in, it's either a fruitful day for the tight end or it's a day that they kind of disappear. Zach Ertz was one last week where he didn't, for the first time in a decade, he went a game without a catch. And that was with Jalen Daniels out of the game. But then we had Trey McBride in this situation here with Jacoby Brissett and facing 11 targets. So it really all depends on how those backup quarterbacks tend to play. But I wanted to give a shout out to Trey McBride for his first and biggest productive day of the season. Enough for tight end 2 on the week.
Yeah, I love it. If you were one of those people who drafted a tight end early, hopefully it was McBride because he has played really well, and the other 2 are hurt. And for Michael Mayer, he's showing people the reason why when Brock Bowers was drafted by the Raiders. Now Brock Bowers is a whole other level. Don't get me wrong, but why it was such a shock to the fantasy community, especially why when Michael Mayer was already there, why they drafted Brock Bowers, because he is really good tight end. He's just behind arguably the best tight end in the league. Good to see that when he gets a chance, he's stepping up. For me, Tyler Warren, tight end number 3. We talk about him almost every week, I feel like, as well, just because, well, he's here every week. He's this good every week. 6 catches on 9 targets, 63 yards, and a touchdown. What else can you talk about with this guy? He looks the part. He looks like he's already catapulted himself into the elite status in the tight end realm, which is not very hard to do if you're consistent. We had Jawan Johnson in there for a hot second, and then, well, he came back down to earth. And then another guy, tight end number 1 on the week, Dallas Goedert. 9 catches on 11 targets, 110 yards, and a touchdown. Jalen Hurts throws the ball. He just throws the ball to Goddard instead of everybody who people want him to throw the ball to. So he has been in the top 10 pretty much every single week, except for the second week of the season I think he missed. But he has been absolutely incredible. We're going to talk about him real shortly. I believe he's on the list. Hopefully we get to him when we talk about buy-sell. So don't want to go too far in depth there, but yeah, Goddard, great week, tight end number 1.
No, I mean, you can't. I mean, if I'm going to praise tight end 2, you got to praise tight end 1. And no doubt about that there. I mean, Goddard, I think, is by far, by an absolute light year mile, the leader of pass catchers in the Philadelphia offense that you would want to have in a fantasy aspect. So, again, you have a tight end facing anywhere between 8 to 9 targets. It's a fantastic freak tight end to have. And then when you have guys getting 10 to 12, like Goddard and McBride are getting, sign me up all day for those numbers.
Absolutely. And everyone was like kind of staying away from Goddard, at least in redraft, real quick, because they had all of these other weapons. And it just comes back, oh yeah, Dallas Goedert's just the dude in Philly and always has been. So pretty interesting there. So we're gonna flip over to flex options. Not too much time left here, so we're gonna go through these pretty quick. Bye weeks, we have Baltimore Ravens, so you're missing Lamar Jackson, even though he was injured. Derrick Henry, Zay Flowers, Mark Andrews. Buffalo Bills, you're missing Josh Allen, James Cook, insert player, and Dalton Kincaid. Insert player for the wide receivers, obviously, because who knows. Wish we could say Keon Coleman, but it's not true right now. So you had 3, so I'm gonna go ahead and give you my honorable mention and then 2 more, and then we'll bring you in. Okay, Jeremy?
Sounds like it to me, man.
All right. So 2 honorable mentions that I have, actually technically 3. First, Alvin Kamara. He playing the Bears defense, allowing the Bears are allowing tied the 3rd most 20-plus runs in 6. Alvin Kamara really hasn't gotten his wheels underneath him this year, it feels like, and I think this might be a nice breakout game for him. Also, because the wide receiver room is starting to finally thin, I think either Matthew Golden or Romeo Doubs or both may be a good play this weekend as well. But my number 5 is Luther Burden, playing the Saints defense. They're allowing the 2nd most receiving touchdowns, and I think that Luther Burden is the dangerous one to be able to get in the end zone this week, especially with DJ Moore. Who knows if he's going to play? He was in the hospital after the game, so we'll see what's going on there. Jonnu Smith, number 4. Yes, he's a tight end. Yes, he's for the Steelers, but yes, they're playing the Bengals defense. Allowing 2nd most receiving yards in 1,609. He is the 2nd pass option because there is nobody else, and if there is anybody else, Calvin Austin's hurt, so there is nobody else other than DK. So yeah, those are my first 2, or my 5 and 4. Go ahead with your 3, sir, since it's the same team.
Yeah, same team, man. I'm going to go Jaylen Warren. Steelers' backfield has not been the talk of the town, especially their most recent draft pick and Caleb Johnson. But look, Jaylen Warren is leading that backfield. He had 52 yards last week against a very stout Browns rushing defense. They are going into the complete opposite. They're going to a very leaky and fluid Cincinnati rush defense. And I think on a short week, you tend to have a lot more rushing game, a little rushing attack, build up on due to the fatigues and everything. Once these short week games come into play, with this game being Thursday, I expect a lot of carries by Jaylen Warren.
I love it. My number 3 is, I can't believe I'm saying this, Ramondre Stevenson. Because he's playing the Titans defense, they're allowing the most rush touchdowns in 11, and they won't let Trevion Henderson play. So Ramondre Stevenson, I think, is going to get a touchdown, at least one.
No, I like the call. My second one is going to be Courtland Sutton. He has 6 games in a row now where he has, after facing less than 3 catches, where he comes back and has 7+ targets, 6 of which are catches. So that stat again is 6 games in a row where he comes back after not having 3 catches. He obtains at least 6 out of 7. So I'm going to go Courtland Sutton against the New York Giants defense, where they have a decent pass rush, but they still have some holes in that secondary for the Giants. So I'm going to go Courtland Sutton based off the amount of targets alone.
Yeah, that's going to be a fun game to watch. Just saying. Number 2, Alec Ayamaner, Patriot. He's going against the Patriots defense, allowing the most 20+ yard receptions, which is good for Ayamaner. And also, we talked about Ridley earlier, who might not be suiting up this week. Easily, Ayamaner becomes the number 1 pass catcher on that team. And I believe he'll be able to get through a good but not great Patriots defense and get one of those 20+ receptions.
The last one is my number 1 for the week is probably going to be the only time that you can put him in a flex. Is going to be Rashee Rice. I want to call him a flex position because it's going to be his first game back. Rice's suspension has been lifted by the NFL, which paves the way for him to return. He's going to be back for Sunday's game against the Raiders. Raiders secondary is atrocious without Max Crosby. That Raiders defense is abysmal at best. So, I can't anticipate Max Crosby carrying too much of the team and a defensive thing. I'm going to go Rashee Rice going to have himself a decent game. But yeah, if you are hesitant to start Rashee Rice, it's the only reason why I put him in a flex spot here. But I'm starting him with confidence.
Yeah, he's not a flex guy, but I get what you're saying there because of the 6-game suspension. We'll see if he is able to jump right in or kind of taking some time to get adjusted. My guess is just like yours. I think he's going to be a stud first week out, especially when he's playing the Vegas Raiders. And then my number 1 guy is Bill. Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt. Guess who he's playing this week? The Cowboys defense, of course. Allowing the third most rush yards. I can't believe it's not first. With 853 yards. I have to put someone in the flex who's playing this team because their defense is atrocious. Also, Bill is clearly the number 1 back now. Rodriguez, I don't know if he ended up playing, Chris Rodriguez, but he got no run whatsoever. McNichols played very little. It is Bill's backfield now. And with Jaden Daniels back, it's going to open up more lanes because of Jaden Daniels' threat to run as well. So I'm really looking forward to what Bill and Jaden can do as long as they hand the ball off correctly.
Oh, you had to get that in, didn't you?
Hey, I only state the truth. And now, real quick, we're going to do some buy sell. I don't know how far we're going to get here, but the number 1 for me, and we talked about him probably twice already today, George Pickens, wide receiver 4 on the year. We're using sleeper for the year, and then we're using KTC for where they're at dynasty ranking wise. So George Pickens, wide receiver 4 on the year, wide receiver 4 points per game as well. Hasn't had the bye week yet. So KTC has him ranked as the wide receiver 18, 51 overall. Are you buying or selling George Pickens?
This one's tough. I know this one's tough. If I only have 1 stock, George Pickens, I'm I'm holding, and I'm trying to buy. But if I have multiples, I'm selling what I can. CeeDee Lamb's coming back. I actually just sold George Pickens for a first round pick this morning in one of my leagues. And I feel the timing was absolutely great. It's a league where I don't want to say I'm trying to lose, but it's a league where the ship has sailed, so I want to move Pickens at the highest peak possible. This gives me my fourth first in that league. So depending on what the value is, but if I can get absolute max peak value for him now, I'm selling with CeeDee Lamb returning. But if I don't have many stocks or if the price is right, I'm buying.
So rebuilding, you absolutely.
Rebuilding, I am 100% selling. If I am contending, I am 100% buying.
Yeah, see, I think I'm selling either way. CeeDee Lamb is a target monster, and Pickens was never really a target guy until this year anyway. Granted, he didn't have anyone near Dak throwing him the ball at that point. However, in Pittsburgh, he wasn't necessarily getting a whole lot of targets, even when he was the only one there. And I'm worried that when CeeDee Lamb comes back, CeeDee Lamb is still the dude, one of the best wide receivers in the game, without a doubt. And him and Dak are on another level together. And worried that George Pickens is going to kind of fall a little bit by the wayside. I don't know if it's going to be him or Ferguson. One of them are probably going to lose a little bit of steam that they have. And my guess is that it's going to be Ferguson and Lamb because they do two different things. But we'll see. So I'd be selling Pickens. But I understand if you're rebuilding or if you're going for it this year with how good he's been, it's got to be hard to push that button. I get that.
He was still producing decent numbers when CeeDee Lamb was active, and that chemistry is now only grown. So I don't see. I think you nailed it 2 weeks ago when you compared the Dallas Cowboys or what we thought the Cincinnati Bengals were going to be. I think we have what we think Jamar Chase and T. Higgins should be at the price of what their contracts are going to be. I think we're going to have George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb putting on the show.
I hope so, man. That'd be fun to watch. That'd be a lot of fun to watch with Dak slinging the ball like that. Number 2, we have a quarterback, Daniel Jones, quarterback 7 in sleeper, quarterback 10 points per game. Because a few of the quarterbacks had bye weeks, obviously, or were hurt. And then KTC has him as quarterback 22 and 82 overall. So you're buying or selling Daniel Jones at those numbers?
I am selling. I'm going to sell while the iron's hot. I'm going to go by just consistency. I'm going to promote his rushing upside. But look, the rushing is going to be Jonathan Taylor. Those numbers have been obvious. But I'm selling on contending, and I'm selling on buying as well. Excuse me, selling on contending, and I'm selling when I am rebuilding.
Okay. With the quarterback 22 on KTC, I can't not want to take a chance. He shouldn't be a first round if he's the 22nd quarterback, barely one of the starting in a 12-team Superflex league. Yes, he's performed well, but everyone's waiting for that other shoe to drop. It feels like his numbers still aren't moving up on KTC, and KTC is kind of like a universal way of how everyone looks at Dynasty is how I kind of explain it. I don't know if there's a better way to explain it.
No, that makes sense to me.
But I couldn't believe when I saw he was quarterback 22 still. I actually can't believe I'm saying it, but I think I'm buying. We've seen the other shoe drop before, but if you need him as a quarterback 3 or a bye week guy, or even you have a stud as a QB1 and you can take him as a QB2 just in case, you're very happy with that. So I would probably be buying if I'm contending for sure. Probably selling if I'm a rebuild. So Jake Ferguson, tight end 1 on the year, tight end 1 points per game, tight end 7 on KTC, 99th player overall. Now this is non-premium, no tight end premium. This is standard.
Selling on all fronts for the same reasons why we're selling on George Pickens. I think when CeeDee Lane comes back, the targets are going to cut back for Pickens, and they're going to cut back even more for Ferguson.
And let's be honest, Ferguson's having a really nice year. Don't get me wrong. Trey McBride's the only big-time name that is healthy right now. Brock Bowers will be coming back. George Kittle will be coming back. And I think
Tucker Kraft just came back.
Tucker Kraft, yeah, he was out for a week or two. And there's not many other players that are in that echelon. So maybe you do keep Jake Ferguson. But if you have even a semi-good second option, I'm selling Jake Ferguson no matter what team I have. You cannot get any better than where he's at right now for selling, especially to a team that is trying to win this year. So, Quentin Johnston, yes, he missed this past week, but he is wide receiver 11 on the year, wide receiver 8 points per game because he did miss this past week. KTC has him at wide receiver 23 and 70 overall.
I am selling Quentin Johnston if I can, because he seems to be one of those polarized players that he could go a season and a half playing every game, but as soon as he gets injured and he misses more than one game, he's injury prone. Now, he is deemed that because of his injury history, but with him missing just this past week, my point is they're already going to use that against me in any type of trade debating that I'm going to be utilizing. Is they're going to be, he's already injured again and everything like that. So if I can sell him, I'm selling him, but I'm not going to bargain selling him as in regards to sell him lower than his actual value is just to get rid of him, if that makes sense.
No, absolutely. I actually was one of the people that bought him after his rookie year was so bad, stole him from somebody basically. Saw that he was performing well. Didn't think it was going to continue because I saw Ladd McConkey what he was about to be doing. Sold him for less, and if I would have sold him now, I would have been ecstatic. If I have him, I'm selling him all day. It's too much touchdown dependent. Yes, he scored a touchdown every single time he touches the field, it feels like. But I can't see how that's going to continue. I think Ladd McConkey's starting to find it now. And don't look now, but they have a tight end there too. Rondé Gasson really played well this past week, along with Keenan Allen there as well, who hasn't played well the last couple of weeks, but was really good to start the season, I think. Two pass catches out there for me personally, so I'm selling on all fronts. DeAndre Swift, coming off a big game, running back 18, running back 15 points per game because they had the bye week last week. Week 5. And KTC has him as running back 34, 129th overall.
I'm buying at running back 34. Yeah, I'm buying as whatever I can here. I'll make it real quick. It's just we know what Ben Johnson can do with a running game. We know what he has been able to do in the past with players. It seems like him and Swift are on a better page. If that's the price that I'm going to utilize, I'm going to try to grab it before it gets too out of hand.
Yeah, and this offensive line is insane. I mean, they literally went out and grabbed 3 of the best offensive linemen in the league and just put them all together. And now they're starting to gel. What he did this past week, and he's getting easier competition coming up throughout the year. If I'm a contender, I'm buying this all day, especially if it's running back 34 price, which is like nothing. That's like taking candy from a baby. I can't see how you're going to get that price, though, to be honest with you. But if you can get close to it, I would 100% be buying this. Brian Thomas Jr., again, coming off a big game. Wide receiver 24 on the year, wide receiver 31 points per game. So KTC, he's wide receiver 13 still, 34 overall.
Buying. Just because those numbers are going to change drastically after last week and him getting 11 targets or him getting 10 targets. I'm buying at these levels that I can. Because I know what kind of caliber player that he can be under a well-equipped Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, see, I said at the beginning of the year I'd be selling him. I'm still selling him. I just don't think him and Trevor have a really great rapport. I said it in the beginning of the show that hopefully this is going to start something for owners of BTJ. I'm just not sold that that's going to be the case. He played really well with Mac Jones last year. We're seeing why because of how Mac Jones is playing in 49ers. And him and Trevor just have never really been on the same page. They, maybe one or two games last year, and this might be just one of those. If I don't have him, I probably want him. But for wide receiver 13, I'm not paying that price. I can get something else. Kyron Williams, running back 8, running back 9 points per game. KTC, running back 12, 47 overall. I'm surprised he's that low.
At that low level, I'm buying. I'm not buying with apprehensions that I'm buying with apprehensions that he's not going to be my number one guy. The offense for the Rams is very pass heavy, and Kyron does have fumbling history, but he is coming into a very high-powered offense, and he is coming off of past 2 years where he's top 5 running back. So I'm buying him while the numbers are still low.
Yeah, I'm surprised he's a running back 12. If I can get him for a running back 12 or lower price, I'd probably be buying, but more than likely I'm going to sell because I don't think McVay likes to keep a player very long, or especially running back. Dalton Kincaid, tight end 8, tight end 6 points per game. He was out week 6 this past week. And then KTC is tight end 10, 112th overall. What are you doing with Dalton real quick?
I'm selling Dalton. It's very, very ball spread heavy offense with the James Cook still being James Cook. I don't know if I want too. I mean, as dominant as Josh Allen is, I don't know if I want too many pass catchers for the Buffalo Bills just by the way they spread the ball around.
Yeah, there's no Stephon Diggs on this team anymore, and I thought Dalton Kincaid might be that guy, that target monster. It hasn't really come to fruition. If I can sell higher than tight end 10, I'm going to. But more than likely, I'm kind of just staying a pat. Can't really.
Yeah, I'm
much. Can't really.
Yeah, I can't.
I don't want him.
Yeah, I'm not selling him a tight end 10 pricing. Let's put it that way.
I think he has too much of an upside.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, Deebo Samuel, wide receiver 8 on the year, wide receiver 13 points per game, wide receiver 41 in KTC, 121st overall. I think you can already guess where I'm leaning.
See, it's tough because at those rankings, because I don't know if I want to sell him at the pricing, but I'm still selling Devo. We got Terry McLaurin coming back this week, actually. And Devo is the ticking time bomb of, is he going to get hurt this week or not? Unfortunately, I know that's a thing that I don't like to use. Just case in point, Quentin Johnson I just utilized, but still that offense is going to get a little bit different with Terry coming back, and with Deebo playing well, I'm going to move him.
Yeah, for me, I think you could tell where I was leaning. Wide receiver 41, if I'm getting Deebo for that, yeah, give me him. Absolutely. Especially if I'm a contender. He has played really well this year, obviously wide receiver 8. You are getting an incredible discount on him if you can get him for that price. I don't think you'll be able to. But anything outside of a first, I think Deebo's worth it. If I have him, which I do in a couple leagues, I'm going to hold tight. Again, unless I'm full rebuild, and then his age kind of worries me. But mainly going to be buying up a wide receiver 41 who's playing in the top 10 all the time. Next, we're going to do a little bit of rapid fire to finish up here. So just a buy, sell. Don't need to explain it. We're just saying buy, sell. Got it?
Got it.
All right, so Jordan Love, quarterback 17, quarterback 15 points per game. He had the bye, obviously, in week 5. KTC, quarterback 10, 36 overall.
Buying. He has a lot of offensive weapons.
I'm selling. I agree with you on the weapons, but I'm selling. Caleb Williams, quarterback 9 on the year, quarterback 6 points per game because he had the bye as well. KTC has him at quarterback 9, 28th overall.
I'm selling on the hype.
See, we're reversed. I'm buying. I can't believe I'm actually buying them.
You and I would make great trade partners, apparently.
We do. That's true. Javonte Williams, running back 6, running back 7 points per game. KTC has him at running back 19, 87 overall.
I'm buying Javonte Williams. I'm buying what he's doing. I'm buying him continuing it.
I'm selling before he gets hurt. Nico Collins, wide receiver 26, wide receiver 19 points per game. Bye week, he had the bye week in week 6. KTC, wide receiver 12, 30 overall.
I'm selling at wide receiver 12. I'm buying at wide receiver 26.
Great answer. That's exactly me too, dude. Yep. Dak Prescott, quarterback 6 on the year, quarterback 9 points per game. KTC, quarterback 16, 60 overall.
I'm buying Dak Prescott. Especially as a contender, he's gunslinging. He ain't stopping.
Yeah, if I can get him at quarterback 16 prices, I'm definitely going to buy him. Kyle Pitts, tight end 15 on the year, tight end 14 points per game. Bye week was week 5. And KTC, tight end 11, 117th overall.
Selling. Too inconsistent.
Yeah, I'm done. This is the 1 year I thought was going to work, but it didn't. Done. Get him off my team. DK Metcalf, wide receiver 15, wide receiver 9 points per game. That's a big swing. The bye week in week 5. And then KTC, wide receiver 26, 74 overall.
Buying. He's clearly the wide receiver 1 in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, for 3 more years. Absolutely buying. Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, Bill, running back 26 on the year, running back 30 points per game. KTC is running back 23, 91 overall.
Buying him at those prices. I think they got more to go. As soon as he gets the fumbling control, he's got more to go.
Yeah, worried about next year, but right now, absolutely buying. Dallas Goedert, tight end 4, tight end 2 points per game. He was out week 2. KTC has him at tight end 17, 159th overall.
I am buying. He is clearly the wide receiver 1 in Philadelphia.
Yeah, if I'm a contender, I'm buying. If I'm a rebuilder, I'm selling. If I have him on my team, he's just up there in age. Travis Etienne, running back 14, running back 16 points per game. KTC, running back 20, 88 overall.
I'm selling.
Same. 100% sell. AJ Barner, tight end 12, tight end 16 points per game. KTC has him at tight end 32, 235th overall.
Extreme buy. Aurora does not seem to be a factor this season, at least, if not longer. Barner continues to score touchdowns, so I'm buying.
Yeah, real quick, I would have sold him. However, tight end 32 prices, 100% buy.
Yeah.
Chris Olave, wide receiver 25, 32 points per wide receiver 32nd points per game. And KTC has him a wide receiver 32, 86 overall.
No, I don't want to sell him at those wide receiver numbers, but I'm selling.
Yeah, this is kind of like that middle ground hold, I feel like. I don't want to buy him, but I don't because of his injury history, but I don't want to sell him for that. So, yeah. I'm same page there. J.K. Dobbins, running back 15, running back 18 points per game. KTC, running back 30, 115th overall.
Selling before he gets hurt.
Great answer. Love it. Absolutely sell. Theo Johnson, last one. Theo Johnson, tight end 18, tight end 25 points per game. KTC at tight end 25 as well, 210th.
Buying at those prices, but I got to see more. He looked like he was Jackson Dart's favorite target until 2 weeks ago, and then last week he didn't catch the ball once. So I need to see more.
Yeah, I still think he's going to be a big target, especially this year. But by the end of this year, I'm probably selling to not have him on my team when Neighbors comes back. So wanted to do that rapid fire because thought it'd be fun just to see the buy sell. But anything else you got for us today? I know we're running a little bit long.
No. I think this was a solid episode. Shows our differences and our parallel agreements in regards to how we handle these trades. And it's no surprise you and I are always trade partners.
Yeah, we agree, but just see the other side as well. I think.
Yeah,
pretty strongly. So, with that, thanks for tuning in tonight. Check us out on Apple, Podbean, and YouTube. Social is at dynastymttops, excuse me, on Blue Sky and X. Email us dynastymttops@gmail.com for any comments, questions, show ideas for the summer, anything like that. Next week, we'll be talking about our mid-season awards. Yes, it is mid-season next week, which is insane already. But for Jeremy, I'm Mickey. This is Dynasty from the Mountaintops. You guys have a great week.
Thanks a lot, guys.